It's another day for you and me in paradise.
He's sold 250 million records, both as a solo artist and as the frontman with Genesis, the band he joined in 1970 as the drummer.
When I stand here taking every breath with you.
Today's guest has won 7 Grammys, 2 Golden Globes and an Oscar for writing and performing You'll Be in My Heart in Disney's 1999 film Tarzan. Although the British star has retired several times, he's about to release all of his albums remastered. He also says he's ready to write some new music. Valerie Fayolle from our French sister channel at France 24 went to meet Phil Collins in Miami.
We're re-releasing all my albums over the next year, and every album will be remastered, and every album will contain another album with some B-sides, some demos, and some live material of music from that album. So it's got a lot of rare things, you know, and I reshot the photographs now, with me now, okay, because Face Value, my first record, was 30 years ago, and so I look very young and babyish.
Have you made a new album as well?
No, I am going to write some things. Maybe they'll come out at the end of, like, maybe next year. I promise nothing.
Okay. I'd like to go back in time a bit and look at your life and career. Your sister is a professional ice skater, your brother's a journalist, you're the musician of the family, and you've been playing the drums since you were 5.
Yes, a long time. Yeah, I mean, I'm 64 now, and that is an awful lot of drums. I've never wanted to be anything else. I never wanted to be a racing driver. I never wanted to be a spaceman. I never wanted to be anything else, just a drummer. My thoughts were that I would just earn enough money to live. That was all I wanted. I didn't want to be a pop star. I didn't think that was going to be possible.
As a solo artist, you sold 100 million albums. With Genesis, you sold 150 million. It all started with the band back in 1970 when you answered a newspaper ad looking for a drummer. Can you remember the audition for Genesis?
I remember meeting the band and hearing some music off a new album they were doing. You know, but for me it was a job. I didn't particularly like the music. Okay. We got better.
Yes.
We got better. But for me, it was work. But as time goes on, you know, you become more and more interested in what the band is doing, and you become more and more interested in the writing. Then you become more attached. And, you know, you go to Europe for the first time. You go to play Belgium, France, you know, Germany, and you're excited about it, and you never dreamed that it's going to be as big as it got. I mean, it really surprised us all.
So you started as the drummer, but you were always praised for your songwriting. So was it natural for you to replace Peter Gabriel when he left the group?
Yeah, I mean, replacing Peter was not so easy. Peter Gabriel was at the beginning of the group, you know, he was like, went to school with the other guys. He left for different reasons, a variety of reasons. And I used to spend the rehearsal time, we used to have 1 day a week where we looked for singers. And they came in and I taught them the songs. So eventually, we carried on writing, and we eventually went into the studio to record A Trick of the Tail without a singer. So I said, I'll have a go. And from then we did every song, and we finished the album, and I had to be the singer. So it was not a decision that I particularly liked, because I loved to play the drums. And suddenly I was pushed out in front with a microphone stand, and it was very awkward for me.
No, I can dance, I can talk,
En 1981, vous lancez...
In 1981, you launched a solo career. Your album Face Value went straight to #1 in the UK when it was released. It stayed in the album charts for 6 years, which is amazing. One of the big hits was In the Air Tonight. Can you describe the new sound you created?
Vous inventez un nouveau son. Qu'est-ce que c'est exactement, ce nouveau son?
I think because Genesis at that time were still playing complicated music, I wanted the songs that I wrote to be simply played. So I left a lot of space. In the Air Tonight, I mean, it's got not a lot goes on in the Air Tonight. You know, there's a drum machine, there's a guitar thing, you know, not a lot, there's a voice. Of course, in the end, the drums come in, and that drum sound I'd got with the Peter Gabriel album. We used the same engineer.
Vous avez été très prolifique.
You're very
13 albums en
prolific,
solo, sans
13
compter,
solo
reprises.
albums, and the first 6 were extremely successful. Your hits include You Can't Hurry Love, Dance into the Light, One More Night, Can't Stop Loving, and Another Day in Paradise.
My favorite, Another Day in Paradise.
Which album are you most proud of?
Dont vous êtes particulièrement fier, en tout cas, un titre qui vous ressemble plus que les autres.
My favorite record is Both Sides, because I played everything. It was a real homemade album, and I feel very close to it. It's a very personal record. I was going through some changes. It led to a divorce. I was going through some stuff in my personal life, and it's all on that record.
Quand vous avez vendu un petit peu moins
When
d'albums,
album
vous avez
sales
diversifié.
trailed off a
Vous avez
bit,
tenté
you
de nouvelles
tried
aventures,
some other
vous avez
things.
très bien réussi. Vous avez fait
You
des
did the
bandes
film
originales
score for
de
Disney's
films,
Brother
Frères
Bear,
des ours en 2003.
and
Et puis
Tarzan, for which you won an
vous avez
Oscar.
eu un Oscar à Hollywood.
You wrote and performed the
Toutes ces
songs
chansons,
in
vous avez
5
écrit et vous avez
languages.
interprété en 5
That must have been a
langues. Ça a dû
huge
être un
challenge.
travail énorme.
Well, believe it or not, we did the 5 languages in about 2 weeks. And French was pretty difficult. So, you know Eric Serra?
Oui.
Yeah. Well, he came in and taught me how to sing some of those songs. And we had sessions. It would be like, Tu es dans mon cœur. No, 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 no. Tu. Tu es dans mon cœur. No, no. Tu. It was the hardest 2-letter word to sing.
Tu. Ouais.
Tu. I still don't know how to do it.
Non, c'est pas mal. C'est pas mal.
No, you're being nice to me. But really, it was, he was great, but he and I would lose our temper sometimes. So it was difficult, but it did not take long.
Oui, tu vis dans mon cœur. Dès maintenant jusqu'à la nuit des temps.
Au cinéma, on vous a aussi vu
You
en
also
Oscar.
starred in the film Buster in 1988.
Oscar Edwards, célèbre pour la
What do you
télévision
remember
Oscar
about that
1963.
experience?
Quel souvenir vous gardez de cette aventure?
My co-star was Julie Walters, who I loved, you know, and in the film, you kind of fall in love with each other. You know, you're with each other all the time, you're husband and wife, you know, you're playing a romantic role, and you kind of get attached to each other. And it was fun to recreate the 60s, wear the clothes, little things like the kind of sweets we ate.
Stop it! Tell me then!
Tell you what?
Where are we going?
When?
This afternoon.
I'm going to see Bruce.
Oui, ces dernières
Recently,
années, c'est
you've
vrai
been
que vous
out of
avez
the
moins vu.
limelight.
Vous êtes resté
What
un
did
peu
you
en
learn
retrait.
during
Qu'est-ce
this
qu'elles vous ont
quiet
appris,
time?
ces années-là?
I learnt not to drink too much.
Okay.
You know, my marriage broke up So I was retired, so I had a big hole in my life. There was no family and there was no work. And so, you know, I didn't know what to do. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing nothing because I had never done nothing. But I need to work. I realized that it was wrong to stop doing something that's been in my life all my life. So I'm back, I'm afraid.
Je crois que c'est important
Is it
aussi
important
de montrer
also
à
for you
vos
to show your
enfants
kids who you are on
qui vous êtes
stage?
sur scène?
Yeah, I got 5 kids. There's Jolie, there's Simon, he does what I do. There's Lily, who's an actress. There's Nicholas and there's Matthew. Nicholas is 14. He's a better drummer now than I was maybe when I was 16, 17. He is incredible. He would love to go out on the road with me and just to see what it's like, you know. He'd like to play drums in my band, but I don't know about that. But, and Matthew, you know, they were too young to see and enjoy it. I would like to do it so they could see what Dad does, because they insist on listening to my music in the car. And they keep saying, you've got to write more new music, Dad. You've got to write more new music and go on tour because we want to go. So they are giving me encouragement.